And the only way to do that is to do the kind of things that you see him doing, as far as taking on tough fight, tough challenges. And I just think, if given half a chance, man, I think Kid Austin might shock a lot of us, man, because you know what? It only takes the courage and determination to be great. And I think he got all those things. But that being said, we're gonna start going through some awards, man. Who do you guys think is the fighter of the year?
You
Uh,
talking about the fight of the year or fighter?
Fighter of the year.
Go ahead,
Who do you think?
Crush.
Usyk,
Okay. That's a good pick. Why
Uh,
you say Usyk?
because I feel like it.
You
um,
a goofball.
I would have to agree with Usyk as the male fighter of the year.
Yeah.
He did something that hasn't been done in the heavyweight division since Lennox Lewis almost 30 years ago. Which was, I mean, I said, yeah, no, it wasn't 30 years ago.
20. About
It was like
20.
20, yeah, about 20,
Oh,
25 years
4,
ago,
yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Um, and become undisputed champion, and he came from cruiserweight to be able to do it. None of the heavyweights was able to unify the belts and become undisputed champion, and he was the one to do it. So I give him male fighter of the year.
Yeah, I got Usyk as well. He just did, he just been like the UK, just tearing them up left and right. You know what I mean? He's he's undisputed. They stripped him of a belt, but that's some BS. But I don't got to really get into all of that. Usyk is my male fighter of the year, hands down.
For me, I would say my male fighter of the year would definitely have to go to Bud Crawford. To go up to another division, going up to 154 pounds. We hadn't seen that since Sugar Ray Leonard. So he joined Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns. Is going, I think it was his fifth division. So I just got to give him nothing but praise for being able to do something like that, because this is a guy who started off at 135 and made his way up all the way to 154. And they're talking about possibly having a fight against the greatest fighter currently active in Canelo Alvarez. So I just got to give Bud Crawford his flowers for another great year, man, and appreciate him always daring to be great. So my male fighter here definitely has to be Terrence Crawford. But he said I got a tie between Bam and Zerto. I really can't give Bam that, because I feel like Bam has no business at that weight class. Maybe I'm wrong, but when he's hydrating all the way up to 145, 150, he has no business at 118. So I'm looking at him kind of as a weight bully. What do you guys say about that?
Well,
That's
that
what
would
you
be a lot of guys. Go ahead,
Go
that,
ahead.
that's
D3.
that's your opinion of looking at him as a weight bully. But
Hmm.
hey, as the saying goes, as long as he makes the weight, he can fight at that weight class. So
For
it's
sure.
it's him that got to drain his body down to make that weight. So he's the one that's damaging his body. So if he can make 115, so be it. I mean, I'm quite sure if some other guys that can make 115 and thought it was an easier way to become undisputed, they would go down to 115 as well.
Salute to my man Scholar in the house. I think the hard thing about it is I think the hard thing about it is, for me, I don't know how you can give the title of fighter of the year to anybody else but a guy who just made it his fifth weight class and became champion. I mean, what more can we say? I mean, the guy is absolutely spectacular. Um, I like to say he reminds me of a modern day Henry Armstrong, and I want to give Blood Crawford his flowers. He's the second greatest fighter in the world behind Canelo Alvarez, and I would give Usyk number three. But you got to give him his credit, man. But that being said, what would you
Ain't
guys say?
gotta do nothing.
You said what?
Yeah,
Ain't
you
gotta
ain't
do
got
nothing.
Hey, here you go, man. You being wild, man. All wild free,
Nah,
back in full effect. Go ahead.
he get his credit. I'm not
This
giving
is a
him
sick Negro.
for over a man that beat one of the biggest man in heavyweight. He beat the biggest man. He was the underdog. I
Mhm.
got to give it to him.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, I could see why you would say that, but Bud Crawford beat the sleeves off of Errol Spence, who was a very sturdy champion, unified.
That was
And
last
then
year.
he went no listen, and then steps right up and fights a monster and Majimov, who was WA champion, and beat it and really beat him in a very close fight. So it was great. And then you got to see Terrence Crawford really show you another layer of his skill, where he didn't just knock a guy out. He really went in there and put on a show with his body work and his counter punching, and beat a really rough and tough guy. So I
I
would
mean, if
say
you
for
want to,
me, go ahead.
if you want to say all that, then we could go back and look at Usyk beating AJ twice, taking his unified championship, and then going in and beating Daniel Dubois, and then going in and beating Tyson Fury twice to become undisputed champion.
I could
Mm.
respect that. I could respect that. But so, what would you guys say is your fight of the year?
The fight
My
of the
fight.
Fighter
year,
of the year?
Oh,
Yes.
the fight of the year, I would give it to Bud Crawford and Magnaball. That was
mm,
the fight of the year for me because, like I said before, going into that 11th round, I had it 5-5. It took Bud Crawford to pull out those last two rounds in order to win the fight in my book.
I got Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. I thought that was a fight of the year. They was rumbling, dog.
That was a great fight. Absolutely, that was a great fight.
But that's what I came up with my list. I picked Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano.
So, who do you have, Press?
Mine was Bacoli and Anderson. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh
Yeah.
wow, you talking about a beatdown? That was your favorite fight. The brother from Ohio getting beat to death. um, I can
Not a
respect that.
geographical thing with you,
But
brother.
my favorite, I would say, my fight of the year has to be, hands down, Canelo versus Edgar Berlanga. Um, Edgar Berlanga came in there
Now what the
game,
hell?
ready to fight, and Canelo did it again, went and beat another rough and tough guy at 168 pounds. So I just definitely got to give, Canelo his credit for beating a monster in Edward Berlanga. So I will have to give Canelo. That's my fight of the year.
Mm,
So what do you guys think?
crazy.
So we said Katie Taylor
I got Katie
versus
Taylor, Amanda
versus
Serrano.
Amanda Serrano.
Yeah.
Crush got Bacoli, Martin Bacoli versus Jared Anderson. Who did you have free?
Bud
You said
and
Madrimov. You said
Magnaball.
Madrimov versus Bud, and I had Canelo versus Berlanga. So I mean, those are four great choices. I mean, but I would only say the fact that Canelo is still a was still an undisputed champion at 168 pounds, and to go on there and beat a monster like Edward Berlanga was just
He
amazing.
wasn't undisputed when he fought Edgar Berlanga.
Oh, they
What
had
are you
already
talking
for
about?
the IBF. Okay, they
Yeah,
probably already shipped him.
he lost his IBF.
Okay. I thought he was still undisputed at that time. But
Oh,
either way it goes, man,
Maybe.
I just thought that was a great performance because Canelo had dropped Berlinga. Berlinga really came in there ready to fight. And we seen Berlinga actually get better in that fight. So my next one would be, what would you say is your robbery of the year?
Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor, Part
Yep.
2.
Yep.
What about you,
Same
Crush?
here.
That's
I
exactly
Same
would
what I
here.
agree
had.
with that. That definitely was the robbery of the year.
That was horrible.
That definitely
All
was the robbery of the year. He said people don't get the value. Um, I hadn't lost in 6 years, ruled the division in the span and never been hurt. Bam, knocked the dude out. It's equivalent to Canelo getting knocked out. That's a good point. I'll give you that. That's a good one. That was a really good fight. I forgot how good that dude was that Bam stopped.
Yeah.
Um, so who would you guys say is the biggest disappointment of 2024
And as
biggest
boxing.
disappointment.
as far as boxing?
Mm,
Biggest disappointment.
Um, oh, I got it. Ryan Garcia popping dirty for PEDs.
yeah. That's pretty
He
bad.
could have he could have pulled out the upset of the year, but he popped dirty on PEDs.
Yeah, that's a good fight. Virgil
Yeah.
versus Check. That was a good fight. Yeah, Ryan Garcia, that was a shock for him to, after putting on a beautiful performance, man, against, the American Dream, to have it all kind of squandered away with a dirty test. So, what would you say, Crush and Prize?
Um, for
I,
me, that would be the one because, and the reason why it's disappointing to me because he didn't need to do what he did in order to beat the dude the fuck up. Excuse my language. He had to get
For
that
sure.
bomb up, man. That's the biggest disappointment to me, and if any fighter that step in the ring, because I feel as though they don't have to do that. So when you shortcutting yourself in some sort of way, it can be a disappointment, especially when I don't think you need it. You know what I mean? But none of these guys need it. They just need to get the hell to work. Discipline. Damn.
Happy New Year to my brother Bentley, always showing love.
yeah, I would say the same thing. Ryan Garcia is the biggest disappointment this year.
I would say for me, the biggest disappointment this year has to be Boots Ennis.
Hmm.
Another abysmal performance against Karen. Didn't look his best. Took a lot of punches. I just really thought, he just looked horrible. And I'm just hoping that, maybe he can get back, get some rest, get back in the lab, and we see a better Boots Ennis because I thought Boots Ennis looked like dog crap against Karen. But my man Pearl beat me to it. What would you say the robbery of the year is? What was the robbery of the year for you guys?
We already said it. We said
We
Amanda
did we
We
did
Serrano.
already
that one.
said that.
Oh,
Can
okay, okay, my bad, my bad.
What you
So,
doing,
excuse
buddy?
me.
You the ripple?
I'll ask you guys this: who is you guys' promoter of the year? For me, it's going to be Turkey Sandwich, and Eddie Hearn as a combo. Who would you guys say was your the best promoter of the year?
I'm gonna go with Turkey.
Okay,
I
Um,
don't look at him as like a promoter really, but I guess so.
yeah,
So I'm gonna
yeah.
roll with Turkey.
If Turkey was a promoter, it would have been him. But being though he's not a promoter,
uh huh.
it's nobody. Nobody was the best promoter this
Nobody.
year.
That's what I
I,
had.
I
I
ain't I
agree.
Nobody.
ain't mad at that, D Free. I am not mad at that.
Ain't nobody do anything. They
Zach B,
Yeah.
all
salute my brother.
just they all just pretty much threw stuff together at the last minute. Matter of fact, to
Yeah.
be honest with you, a lot of these fighters made these promoters have to make certain fights. So
Hmm.
I don't give that award to none of them because none of them really
Yeah.
did anything
None
this
of them
year.
is deserving of it.
And
None of them.
that's fair, and that's fair. What I'll say this before we get started. I want to give a big shout out to our sponsor, Raycon. Go to rayconglobal.com. That's rayconglobal.com. Um, I just got our QR code. It won't be live until Monday, but it's going to be BVO 45. I thought it would be live for Wednesday, but from what I was told this morning, it won't be ready until Monday. But the cool thing is we are officially going to have a 25% QR code. You just type it in, and that's at rayconglobal.com. That's rayconglobal.com. And I want to send a big shout out to everybody that sponsors the channel. And what we try to do each show, we try to get 3 appreciations. Doesn't matter the number. We just trying to grow the channel. So whatever you guys want to do, it doesn't matter the number, but we're just looking to get 3 appreciations a show. But back to the prize at hand. Who would you say was the most improved fighter of the year for you guys? I'm gonna go with David Benavidez. What would you guys say?
I'm I'm gonna say Daniel Dubois.
Okay, that's a great one.
I got Dubois too. Free. I got him winning actually a couple of awards that I gave Dubois.
That's a great
All
one.
right.
Go
So
ahead.
that was my second. I,
All
I was having
right.
a tough time with that crush. I was torn between El Rayo and Daniel, so I went with Daniel. But El
I took
Rayo's right there.
Alvarado because I didn't want everything to be the same across the board. So
Right.
I was thinking between Alvarado and Daniel Du Bois, so I took Alvarado.
I got some things that'll shake some stuff up when we get to some certain like wars. I got some things that's gonna shake it up.
So I'll ask you guys this: Who was
Wait, did
the
Free
new?
go?
Yeah, for you, and didn't you?
Yeah, I said Daniel Dubois.
Yeah, he
Okay,
said
right, right.
Daniel. Yeah, he
All
said
right, go
Daniel.
ahead. Go ahead.
So who would you say? We just did most improved. We did most disappointment.
Hmm.
Who would you say um was the most active fighter this year? Who do you think was the most active? Who would you guys give for most active?
Most active.
Yes, for me, I'm going to go with Abdullah Mason for being the most active fighter of the year. I want to give him an award for that because he's not
Uh,
really a prospect anymore. That was last year.
Well, I got
But
him as a prospect still, so
yeah, but whenever they get into the top 15, I kind of take him out of prospect. He's
That's
actually
cool.
he's number 14 in the WBC, number 13 in WBA, and he is number 10 in the IBF. So I kind of don't. I look at him now
That's
as
a
a contender.
contender. That's a
That's a
contender.
contender. Yeah,
That's
he's
cool. I still got him as like a prospect, but you can.
Yeah,
So I ain't mad if you feel like he's not. That's cool.
yeah. I would give it to Abdullah Mason too. I think what he had like 5 fights this year. I
yeah,
would
he had
Yeah.
5. Yep,
yeah, I
he
would give
did.
him most active as well because I don't think nobody had more than 5 fights. So
No, it
I
would
would
have been Camille Moulton, but I guess he ate his way out that last fight.
yeah. So I give it to Abdullah Mason.
Yeah.
So what did you have, Crush?
I have it. Abdullah Mason.
Oh, okay, okay. So, this is my one of my favorite ones. Who do you guys think is the trainer of the year? Who do you guys think is the best trainer in boxing? For me, I have to say Bomac for what I've seen, the improvements with Keyshawn Davis. I think Bomac, he has a number of fighters, and every last one of them seem to be getting better. So,
Yeah,
including his main fighter, Bud Crawford. So, I would say for me, trainer of the year is going to be Bomac, aka
I
Tito's bag.
I was going to say that, but I knew one of y'all was going to say it, so I went with a different route, and I'm gonna go with Usyk trainer Sergio. I'm gonna say he was the trainer of the year for me.
I'm
That's
Yeah,
gonna
my
I could see that. Sergio,
my
he had a
fault.
great year. He had a
I'm
great year.
gonna run with Don Charles. I like what he's done with Dubois. I like how he and Dubois is my comeback fighter of the year. So I felt like that coach got him on a different level right now, and I want to see the rematch with him and Usyk. I want to see it.
Yeah.
Uh, for myself, I didn't really think too much on it, but
Hmm.
two guys come to mind. One is Bo Mack and the other one is Robbie Garcia for me.
Absolutely.
So
That's a good one.
yeah.
Robert was
I
great
knew
this year.
I knew somebody else was going to say that too. That's the exact reason why I went with Sergio. I
I'm
knew
going
somebody
with
else was going to
Robbie
say that too.
Garcia. I'm
Robert had, you
going
know what? I
What's
think
that one
Robert had
trainer
his
that'll
best
be here?
year.
That Rudy guy. He's a
I think
he's
Robert had his best year
a
since
pretty
he
good
was training
trainer.
his little brother Mikey Garcia. I think what you seen him do with Virgil Ortiz, um, and what he did with El Rayo, you gotta really give him his credit. I just feel like the guys under Bomac took a huge step forward. That's my only thing. Um, so we also got one of my favorite ones, man. Who would you guys say is your prospect of the year? This is kind of tough because it's not many. It wasn't a ton of prospects. I'm going to say Emiliano Vargas only because he is number 16 because he just went to 140, so he's not in the top 15 like it was at 130. So for me, I definitely got to go with Emiliano Vargas prospect of the year. Who would you guys say?
I still got Abdullah, but it's cool if y'all don't want to call him a prospect. But that's who I picked. I feel like he still got a little ways to go. He's still young. I still think he's in that prospect entering the contender uh, part of his career. But if y'all want to call him contender now, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, because he did almost get stopped. That's a good point. He did
I mean,
almost get stopped.
we not calling that, but by the rankings, he's a contender, bro. You
That's
can't be
cool.
in the top 15 in the top 10 and you're a prospect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah.
Well, I mean, I still feel like he's a prospect. I feel like he's that's fine though. He's top. I mean, he's barely in the top 15, but that's cool. But that's
Brother, you
my
Barely
know how
in
many
dog.
the
people fight? That's huge, dog, to be in the top 15. That's
Yeah,
pretty
no
big,
doubt,
man.
no doubt.
But what you got on the
uh,
free and crush? What you got on that prospect of the year?
I got a different one for y'all asses.
I got a good one too.
I got a Puerto Rican for y'all.
I got
Who
a
is it?
Puerto Rican. I got a Puerto Rican as well.
Fender
I
Bennett,
got
salute,
Keith
my brother.
Cologne. I got Keith Cologne.
I got Keith
Oh
Cologne as
yeah, that's a good
well.
one.
I
I
was
like the
gonna
Puerto
I was
Rican
gonna
kid.
say Keith. I had Keith Cologne. I written it down, and the reason why I gave him prospect of the year, this man became a pro this year. Had 3 fights, three
Yeah,
knockouts. None of them fights made it past the second round. And this man is a full-time student at Rutgers University. He still go to school and got a GPA of a 3.2, and he still, as a pro, is out here putting on great performance. So I gave him prospect of the year.
I
yeah,
forgot about him.
yeah.
I forgot
What's
all
next?
about that man.
Oh, you forgot about your prize?
Yeah, I forgot
Yeah,
about him.
I had a feeling Crush was gonna have the same person I had. I was like, he said I got a good one. I was like, I got one too. Puerto Rican. He a Puerto Rican too. I had a feeling Crush was gonna have the same one I had.
Hey, great minds think alike, D Free. If I'm having the same thoughts as the master debater, I know boxing, God damn it. That's all I
Yeah,
got.
that man
Salute to my man
became a
Fender
pro.
Bender.
That
Go ahead.
man became a pro this year. That man had 3 fights, 3 knockouts. Neither one of them made it past the second round. And he's a full-time student at Rutgers University. And he has a GPA of a 3.2. That man prospect of the year. Ain't
And
no
he
more to
look
say
good
to it.
doing it. And he look good doing it too. God damn, he look good doing it
Yeah, he
too.
did.
Woo.
He
Yeah.
definitely good. Salute to Keith because going to school, most fighters, and we have fighters on here, we usually say F them books. So shout out to Keith Cologne for going to school, man. Definitely shout out my
And
man Fender Bender for coming through. Go
not
ahead.
not to mention, he also got the letter of recommendation that he is nominated for prospect of the year.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
he
He did have a WBA send him a letter. That's definitely true. Salute
yeah,
to my
he's
man
Mhm.
been
Tommy
he's
for
been
promoting that.
recognized as prospect of the year for the WBA.
Hmm.
So he's holding up to this bargain.
Yeah, I think the cool thing about Prospect of the Year, is so many good young fighters. But I gotta ask you guys, who was your sleeper fighter of the year? For me, my sleeper fighter of the year was a guy named Michael Hunter. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Michael Hunter. He was the one that actually beat Bacoli to death. So I would say Michael Hunter to me. Salute to my brother, Real Prison Talk with Tommy. Um, I would say Michael Hunter was my sleeper of the year. Who was you guys' sleeper fighter of the year?
My sleeper of the year um is going to be the dude that beat the brakes off of Tim Zoo. What's his name?
Bakram.
Yeah.
Bakram.
Bakram.
Big
Yeah,
scary dude.
he
Big scary Russian dude.
yeah, he's my sleeper of the year because before this, everybody was thinking Tim Zoo was just gonna walk through him. Now people like, man, I don't know who want to get in there with him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who
I
want to
don't.
get in there
I
with
don't.
him.
You got you right though because when I was telling everybody I thought Bachman was going to stop Tim Zoo, everybody was talking about nah, BVO, you don't know what you're talking about. But I seen Jamel Charlo duck him, so I know he can fight.
Well,
That
you
boy.
went the other way around. You thought Tim Zoo was gonna stop Bachman. You said it
No,
back.
no, no, no. I was if you was on that live podcast, I said Bachman was going to stop Tim Zoo because I had watched Bachman a few times, and the way Jamel did all that maneuvering trying to get away from him. I said, "Oh,
Mhm.
okay, he's the truth, man." Because he's almost like a 154 pound um Baterbiak. Because I mean, he just in there really knocking the he knocking your hair off, man. He not nobody to play with. I mean, he beating people to death. He said, "What you lying about now, PPO? You sound crazy, man." Um, Salute to my man, Body Work pulling through.